Okay, ooh, it's been a long afternoon and I'm walking around in circles. Well, I suppose I better do an intro. Slap bang. 3, 2, 1, intro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday night, and I'm massively behind schedule now because a guitar that was supposed to, or a job on a guitar that was supposed to take me half an hour just turned into 4 hours. Just the way it goes, but that's how it is. So here we have Martin's left-handed Squier, and what I'm going to do on this thing, it's a pretty looking, kind of bog standard but good looking Squier. You know, it's an Affinity. I think it's got 10s on it. No, so 9s. Let's just double check. So this is a little bit unusual in that I'm not going to give this the full setup malarkey. All I'm going to do on this is, all inverted commas, all I'm going to do is change the fit and adjustable Tusk nut and give it a clean up and replace the strings. So not a lot of doing. So just I'm out of batteries and I'm trying to charge up, and I'm attached, so I can't be doing the proper sound, so I'm on old-fashioned sound. But anyway, here it is. I've also recommended we put some string trees on it, some Tusk string trees. So I've got those. I've got the Tusk nut, white string trees coming up. So it's a small, quick upgrade, if you like. But you know, why not make it play the best it can, given what we've got? And it's a nice-looking guitar. Martin said he was happy with the way it played at the moment in terms of the action. So we're not going to mess with that. No fret leveling or anything. We're just going to go nut job. And of course, one of the things I noticed on this, and I think you might find this funny and a bit disgraceful actually for Squier, guess what? Look, it's a right-handed nut on a left-handed guitar. I don't know if you can see that. See how it's sloping that way? Oh god, sloping that way. Doesn't make any sense what I'm showing you. Anyway, if you can see it, this is definitely a right-handed nut on a left-handed guitar, and I've seen this, Harley Benton do this all the time. So I guess it's just too much trouble for somebody to make a left-handed nut, so they just stick a right-handed on and hope you don't notice. And of course it has an effect on the intonation, naturally. Now, there was some discussion we had about this guitar, or there's 2 guitars to be done. This one, an offset, unbranded looking thing, and somewhere down the line a made in Mexico Strat. And there were talk of this, we're going to put a left-handed Wilkinson bridge on, not this one but on the other one, but also put one on the made in Mexico, and maybe put the made in Mexico bridge on here. And actually, to be quite honest, there's not really that much difference. Unless it's a full weight block, which I'm not really convinced the made in Mexico will be. So really, replacing one zinc alloy bridge for another one really doesn't really achieve much. So I'm just going to put you here for the time being. Hope you don't fall over while I get on with this. It's kind of late now, so I need to move. So I'm going to take the strings off a bit, and we're going to get this nut out of play, and we're going to get these string trees out of the game as well. Now, it's probably useful to keep the strings for a minute, so we don't want to bust them, although they're a bit mucky, so they'll probably break of their own free will, as things usually do when you start to take them off and they're old. Sorry about the sound now, because I've run out of power, so I can't charge the phone and use the microphone socket at the same time. Thanks, Apple. So I'm going to take these horrible little butterfly things off, and as far as I'm concerned they should go in the bin, but I'll give them back to Martin in case he wants to throw them away himself. I won't put the other ones in just yet until I've had a chance to clean the headstock, because it could do with a bit of a clean over. Now the question is, can we get this left-handed piece of satanic jiggery pokery out of here? And I'm going to obscure the view so you can't see, and I'm going to create a little start bite in this nut and see if we can get a little bit of movement. Now it's interesting because it's sort of kind of moving a little bit, but it's not really that keen to move. So it's going to say to me, well, if you hit me, I'm going to repay you by telling on you. No, I'm going to repay you by pulling out a chunk of rosewood, and then you'll be crying, won't you? So you go, all right then, all right, let me just try and see if I can lift you out with a little bit of a string puller. And then you go, no, I'm not going to do that. Go, okay, well, in that case you leave me no choice. I'm going to put to work my new razor saw, and you're going to get chopped down the middle, friend, because you're actually very solid. I don't know, with your bone or your some sort of plastic. I imagine you're plastic. Sorry about the noise. Oh, how much fun to be wielding a razor saw whilst keeping the strings as much as possible out of the way. So the idea of this is we sort of cut down here, and eventually you get near the bottom and you can sort of pull in and presumably snap a bit off like that, and snap another bit off. Now I don't know if this is plastic or bone. If it's bone, it could be that somebody else has put this in along the way, and it's in fact their fault that it's got a right-handed nut, and I would be treating Squier unfairly, because I can't say I've seen it before on a Squier, but so maybe a previous owner has done this. So it's not wanting to play the game, and I'm slightly working against the odds here with strings out and pulling out the way, because I sort of need to keep them on. I don't want to take them off and they'll probably break. So I'm, like I say, yeah, working against the grain a little bit. So it's just a matter of trying to break these little bits off, and then we'll still have to dig them out anyway, because particularly if they're well glued in place. So cutting it down the middle, really, it's supposed to make it easier to remove, but I can tell you it's not really that much easier. And what I'll do is I'll just go back to here and see if I can wiggle a bit of it out, and it's starting to come out in chunks of it. Very nice. And then we need a very fine screwdriver. I'm going to sneeze. Pardon me. Fine screwdriver for digging our way through the rest of it. So it's a bit of a mucky, you know, chips flying everywhere. A little bit of a mucky nut slot. And eventually it comes out, and what's left is a load of, looks like bone actually, so I take it back. I apologise to Squier. It's more likely been fitted along the way by another owner, hence the left-handedness. I mean, having said that, I really don't recall ever seeing Squier doing that before, I must say, because they're a good company. But sorry, you know what? I've insulted two companies. I'm going to be man enough to retake back my words. Harley Benton hasn't done it. Now let me just check something here. Are we on a curved slot? Are we on a curved slot here? I think we might be. That's a bit unusual. Yes, we might well be. Yeah, I take it back. Harley Benton hasn't done it. That's so unfair. Strike it from the record. I never said that. It's not Harley Benton. It's people like K-Mize and things like that that you buy, you know, AliExpress style necks from eBay. So it's not Squier, and it's not Harley Benton. I was wrong, and it was wrong of me to say. And I apologise unreversedly. Okay, so I think we do have a nut that is curving. Curving. It is. Well, affinity squares with a curving nut. What's going on? Right. Meantime, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sand off the little foot on this. Because this nut comes with a little foot to make it a proper non-curved slot nut. Not proper, I mean proper, but it can be one. It can be whatever it wants to be. Okay. Oh hey. What in the? I've lost my mind again. Right, thank you. Okay, Squier. There we are. What sort of condition is the slot in? Yeah, so. Okay, right. Now the slight problem with this is to make this work, to make a curvy one work as an adjustable nut is a bit tricky. And I'm not sure it would make massively good sense to go through all the motions of doing it. But then again, having said that, it's not that much harder to make the make a curved nut to get it to the right height either. It's not that much easier because you can't sand down the underside of it. So curved nut slots are not a bloody good idea. All right. So let's just have a look at this. So we can't very easily sand that down unless we get a thing with the correct radius on it, which we don't have. Do we have? We have one made for me by a very kind individual. I don't know where the hell it is right now. Not there. Parts of it there. I think. Is it here? I think it's here. It's a 7.25, that's no good. I mean, sorry, it was made as a 7.25, which could have done the job, but is that 9.5 on this side? Wait a minute. That's a 7.25. They don't tell any truth about these darn things. This appears to be the right size on this side of the game. Well, we could actually use that to sand it down. That's a turnip for the books. It's going to take a while, but all right. Let's just get a feel for this, right? So what we'll do is we'll replace the strings. Sorry about this; it's a bit slow. Replace the strings. Yeah, I'm not sure about the adjustable part of things. And just a minute. Just a minute. Although that would solve trying to get the nut to sand the bottom to a particular radius. That's always the point. Okay, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. Bit of wobble there. That's sort of sitting sort of okay. So the actual slot isn't even horizontal. Yuck. That's not good. But it's still savable, workable, doable. Now that is, we're going to need to take them down, which means, do we either make it adjustable or do we accept we're going to cut it down from below and work with that? I don't like the lean of this slot. That's not good. Can we correct that? I'll try. Okay, let's think. So we're too high on there. We could cut the slots down. That's the easiest way of doing it on a left-handed guitar like this. To get it to work as an adjustable, we would have to take this down below, we'd have to radius it down instead of, well, let's try it, bloody hell, come on, you know, that's what we're aiming to do. We can build a radius on here, we'll take it down, we need to take it down a bit more, we don't know exactly how much more, but I would say, I'd guess. Right, first of all, so the slot is not really good, it's leaning forward, so it's not not straight. Now we're going to have to make this thing here into a sanding bed. Remove this. We can do a bit of it with the power thing, but better that we do it with some 120. Some 120 and some double-sided tape. Stay. So put this on here. Now this is the other side of this is down as 7.25, but this side looks like 9.5, or unless that's 7.25, because it's the same as the nut. Unless the nut's 7.25, but we'll do a quick test. So that's my thing there. This would go there like that. And we'd cut around. Okay, hold on. Okay, that's my bit there. Cut down here. Whoops. Cut down here. Mind the fingers. Oh, there's a bit left over here. No. Cut that off. There. Something like that. Right, that's doable that way. Now we also want to take a bit off the end in a straight line too, so let us make the most of the vertical part of it and do that, followed by, if I can, this. Not very good. Fiddly fiddly, sorry about this, it takes time to get things right. That's not very good. Cut that off, cut this off. Near enough. Right, thin bit of that. Oh, there's a straight edge, there's a straight edge. Lift out there, put it in the corner there, shove it in there. Press it down, cut it off. Right. Okay, right, so I've got myself a little sanding jig. But theoretically, I can hold it still. Difficult. Yeah, sort of, but not easy. There's no way of gripping it really, other than this. So I suppose it's doing it. That's in principle. Let's see where we get to, just as a quick test. So it would be good to get to the right height. First of all, how's it sit? It's still sitting a little forward. It's because of the slot. I can't do anything about that, I'm afraid. Okay. Fiddle, 6. Well, it's actually not far off being the right height and everything. Let's give it, if I can get it to the right height like this, then I won't bother with the what's the word, adjustable thing. I'll just go with what we've got. Nigh on impossible to handle, but also take off some material from the end as well, which is very difficult to do. Let's try one more time. Not too bad. So we've got still more to take off. Just looking at that, that's quite a good height. A bit more off the treble side, but that's about it. Not far off. So I think we're going to go on the if it ain't broke, don't fix it principle. So we can get it down to a perfect action, given that it's a curved slot, which isn't easy to work with anyway. Thanks to Bender's choice, Squier's choice. Let's tune it up as close as we can get. Almost there. So we've got a bit of discrepancy in terms of the overhang here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Dremel off most of it and fine tune it. How are we doing? We're still recording? Yes. I'm going to fine tune it. I wish I could get you to down to this end to see what. Let's try it. If you run out of battery, you run out of battery. What's the power saying? Can't tell me. That's handy. We don't really need to know, do we? Just run out. Yay, let's get down to this end. There we have it. I'm going to just gently work this off. Fabulous. Fabulous. That's a nice quick way of doing it. Would be careful. We're almost there. Let me just check what we have got as the first bit action. What we want is 0.3. We're almost there, but for the treble. So I'm going to take a fraction more off this treble side. We are so close to being there. What we can't do anything about is the overall shape of this slot. It's slightly leaning forward, and that's all we have to live with it, I'm afraid. So I'm just trying to take a small fraction off the treble side. Scrabble fingers. So now we'll just round off these ends so they don't hurt. I think we are very nearly there. Yeah, we're going to have to live with this slight leaning business. That's pretty damn spot on, I would say. Yeah, nice. I mean, there's a tiny bit of leeway. I wonder if I can get it to square this up a little bit. But we're almost there, which is good. We're at the right length as well, which is excellent. So once I get this just right, I think there's no real benefit in this case of having an adjustable one. I think, let's look down here. We might just, if I can get a grip on this, I don't know what you can see, I might just try and round this off a little bit towards the back end, if there's any hope at all, so it doesn't lean so much. We can hope. Yeah, oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think that's spot on actually. Right, let's get all the strings out. What's good is, the important thing is that we've got it with the original nut slots. So we've got it to the right height with the original slots, so that it will stay in tune really well. So let's get all this old stuff off. Let's give it a good clean, and then we'll put new strings and new string trees on and take her home. Yeah, it's unforgivable, the bad things I said about Squier. They never did a bad thing with a nut, because that was definitely a bone nut, so somebody's put that in. I know for a fact the Affinity wouldn't have come with a bone nut. I think I can say that about Squier without being unkind. Okay. Goodbye. Okay, now the strings won't come out. Please, I don't need any more special surprises today. Hurrah. Right, very good. These were 9s, weren't they? Yes, they were 9s. 9s. Okie dokie. So let's zoom out. Sorry about this terrible filming quality, absolutely hopeless. See what we can see. Stay up there. Okay, so let's give it a clean. That's what we need to do. Give it a clean. obviously this is a light job, so not a load of time going into it. Most of the time's gone on the nut, but I did want to give it an overall clean and freshen up. There's some lovely, lovely historical grime on these pickups. Can't really get it all out, but I can remove some of it. I'll throw this cloth away afterwards, burn it. Give it all a quick going over. I mean, that's the thing. This is the majority of the expense on this now is on the parts, i.e. the nut and the tune and the string trees, and a little bit of time, but mostly just the parts. It's not about trying to make this into a new guitar, but just make it play and stay in tune really well, which there's no reason why it can't do. Again, providing the tremolo is not obstructed, it should play pretty well. The key secret to tuning stability is being the nut. Condition of the nut slots and the slack in the strings once you've fitted new ones. So that's going to be the key focus. Is we've got the nut slots just about right. They're ready to do their thing, and then we're going to put new strings on and stretch them out. Not bad condition, affinity, nothing wrong with it. Okay, so we are ready to go. Replacement nut, just check the width again. Everything's fine, feels good. Probably do just a tiny bit of rounding off on that front edge so it doesn't hurt the fingers. Same on the other end. Nice. Right, a drop of super glue to keep it in place. Good thing about this is it's really only going to fit in one place because it's hello, do you work? Oh Lord. Chop more plastic off. No, it doesn't work. It's funny how it never, what do you call them? The sort of super glue delivery mechanisms never last. They always conk out. Now this, I think this may not stick. I don't know how good that is. Hard as nails, super glue, but that's spot on. I hope it stays there. I didn't put much on, so we just have to trust it stays. Okay, so now we want to put some Tusk string trees on. Kind of moving swiftly along here because of the fact it's late now on Friday night. Tusk string trees. Just put them there for a second. Let's dig out some 9s. D'Addario 9s. And get these on. Oh, come on, thank you. Don't forget, before I put the strings on, we'll put a bit of oil on. So, down the bottom is the things, heavy strings. Right. Coming up to the D. I can't remember if this had, Martin said this had a tremolo or not, so we'll have to see. Probably I may have one knocking about. What we had a discussion about whether a left-handed tremolo is different from a right-handed one in terms of the arm, and I'm not sure quite what we agreed in the end, but I think we realised that the thread was always the same way, even though they were left-handed, bizarrely. Right, so let's get some oil on here before we put the strings on. These are old frets that have been sort of worn into levelness by age, which is always a good thing really, because it's one way of not having to spend money on fret levelings. If they're old enough and worn down enough, they usually kind of even out by virtue of wear, which is a pretty good state of affairs. Okay, let's go. So pull back one, hold on tight, and there we go, over the top, lift it up, send it under. Pull it up, pull it back one, load it up. There we go. Wrong one, that one. I think the adjustable nut would have probably worked on a flat bottom slot, but the difficulty of trying to work it on a curved slot is probably not worth any sort of payoff on it, and as it is, you know, this seems to be the right height for the action anyway, so now having radiused it back on that special little tool that was made for me by a very kind Real Love Guitars viewer stroke supporter. Well, it was something he was making and happened to share his prototype with me, which I'm very glad. I'm just going to try and slightly widen these so we don't get any any splits. Any splits? So both the same length, I would say. Thank you. Oh, clumsy. Yes, so that was a neat little prototype to use there for radiusing that nut. Although it said 7.25 on one side, I have a feeling the other side was 9.5. I think he'd done two different sides. Either that, or it seemed to be spot on 9.5. Maybe there's not enough difference really when you're dealing with that kind of thing. Who knows? Seemed like 9.5 to me. Okay, that. Second of the trees. Right, pull up the strings, stretch them for the first go. And then put them under tension. Right, now, did we have an arm that would work? An arm. Let's try and see. Pacifica. Does it work right to left or left to right? You never know. I don't know. Who knows what they came with? You'd think it would be the opposite. The sort of logic tells you it would go that way, right? It doesn't seem to. Oh, that's a bit wacky. I don't even know what's that in there. It's a bit rusty in there, that's my concern. No, it's not really going that way, is it? They wouldn't do it. I can't see them machining. Can't see them doing it that way around, frankly. I don't know whether this is I think this is too big. I think it needs to be a narrower one like this, but the problem is it's completely rusted up. Not ideal, but just to check the amount of movement. It's not bad for a down only. Yeah, who knows what this does. I mean, this is pretty worn out anyway, so well, I haven't got anything that automatically fits. There's a push-in one that would that would probably do a good job, but at least it gives me a chance to demonstrate it or test it. See, look, that works perfectly well. Get that bit right and then stretch out the strings properly, and you don't need to worry about the tremolo. It's very, very good, very stable. As to what the arm is that fits in there is anybody's guess, I'm afraid, because I haven't got one. And if anyone can tell me the bottom line on whether it's a, I can't remember, without a left-handed guitar sitting here to try out, I had a left-handed set of stuff that I think I threw it away. Let me just check. Well, maybe, what have I got here? Left-handed pile of stuff. Here it is, there's an arm. Oh, look at that. There's a left-handed arm. It's a Harley Benton left-handed arm. So the question is, does it go this way or does it go this way? Does it go any way? Doesn't really want to go anywhere at all. Does it go this way? Seems to want to go this way if it goes anyway, but if you're making it, you see, you're not really making these threads backwards, are you? Well, there's a lefty arm that could have worked on here, maybe. Nothing immediately obvious that works on here. Anyway, let's worry about that another time. That went with a Harley Benton bridge, so we could have changed it out maybe. Okay, a bit more stretching and then we're going to be done. That's it for this little fella. Tusk nut fitted, Tusk string trees, board oiled, a bit of a clean up, get rid of some of the goo, historical goo, and then I've got to get out of here because I'm running so late now. But at least I got 2 out of my 3 things done and none out of my extra stretch goals for tonight, which would have been to de-nail a mahogany plank. Okay, that's me for tonight. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.